Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Ian, I'm Ian the Reader, and today I'm back with What's Up Wednesday, episode 5. I'm pretty sure it's episode 5. This is just my weekly update. I'm super excited to talk to you guys about all the books that I finished last week. It was a very productive reading week, I must say. And I have a few new books to talk about as well that I'm currently reading. And I also have some book mail to open up, so I'm very excited about that. This just showed up on my doorstep. I've been having a pretty terrible week with work, to be honest. It's been awful. And so having this book mail show up on my doorstep was just so delightful. Before we get into the rest of the video though, it would mean the world to me if you would like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I would love it if you stuck around. Keep an eye out as well. On Friday, I have my book of the month predictions for July video coming out. Lots of exciting books to talk about. So many good books coming out in June and July, and I think it could be a pretty good month. All right, so let's go ahead and first talk about what I finished last week. So I actually managed to finish 6 books last week, which is crazy. It was like one after the other. It was like one a day actually for a while there. I didn't finish anything like I think the Thursday, the day after I posted my last weekly update, but then it was like boom, 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 boom. It was really great. So let's go ahead and talk about those. First off, the first book that I finished last week was Hyperion by Dan Simmons. I've been talking about this book for a few weeks. I'm not going to go too much into my thoughts on it because it is going to be featured in 2 videos coming up. It will be featured in a I Try 3 Buzzy Sci-Fi Authors video that'll be out maybe this week, maybe next week. I'm not really sure when I'm going to post it, but it'll be up soon. And then this was also one of my 5-star predictions for this quarter, so I definitely want to save all of my thoughts for those 2 videos. I did enjoy it for the most part. I have some thoughts on it though that I definitely want to share in those videos, so keep an eye out. Speaking of 5-star predictions though, I also finished Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I said I was thinking about starting it last week, and I sure did. I zoomed through this audiobook. It destroyed me a little bit. I was listening to this while working, and I was trying not to tear up because, man, this book is emotional. I loved it. I'm not gonna talk about it too much again because this one will also be featured in my 5-star predictions video that will be coming out pretty soon, because now I finished all of my quarter 2 5-star predictions, so keep an eye out for that video as well. Just as a little bit of a recap for how my 5-star predictions work, I have a list of 35-star predictions for the year, and I draw 3 titles a quarter to read from that list, so obviously I'm not gonna get through all of them this year, but I do that every quarter, and in those videos I recap whether or not the 5-star predictions that I had selected from the last quarter were 5 stars, and then I draw new books for the next quarter, so keep an eye out for that coming very soon. I also read The Cartographers by Peng Shepherd, and I didn't like it. I did not like it. I was going to film a review for this book, but then I actually watched Leanna's review from Leanna's library. I'll go ahead and put a link to her channel and video down below. She has a review up for this, and everything she complained about I agreed with, and so I was like, why even film a review? So I'm just gonna link that video down below. If you want to know my thoughts on it, just watch that. I didn't feel quite as passionately against this book as she did. All of the complaints she had I 100% agreed with, but I still managed to have a little bit of fun with this book, so I'm thinking 2 stars for this one. She gave it a hard 1 star for me. It's a 2-star. Not great. Not great. Next, I actually did finally finish Uzumaki by Junji Ito. I had already finished volume 1 before this week, but I finished volume 2 and 3 of this, so I am now done with this whole story. I thought about reviewing them individually on Goodreads because I read them individually, but it's really one story, you know, it really is like one arc. I don't think that you could really isolate any particular rating amongst the different volumes. That's just my personal opinion on it, but I really enjoyed this collection. I really, really did. It wasn't perfect. I'm not going to give it 5 stars. I'll probably film a review for this one at some point. I did enjoy it a lot. This is some crazy body horror type of madness, and it just kept surprising and shocking me over and over again, but I did have a few issues with it, and I wasn't crazy about the ending. I'll elaborate on that more in a review at some point, but I did really enjoy this, and I'm super excited to read more Junji Ito at some point in the near future. Then yesterday I did finish 2 books as well. The first of those is Summer Night, the 4th book in the Dresden Files. This is a reread for me. I felt about the same about this book the second time around. With the first 3 books, Stormfront, Full Moon, and Grave Peril, I've liked them more than I did the first time. For Summer Night, it was about the same. If anything, maybe even not quite as good as I remember, because it is, in my opinion, like, well, the first time I read it, it was like the first really good Dresden Files, but because I appreciate the first 3 more, I think this one stands out a little bit less to me. I do still really enjoy this book. It definitely expands on the world in some really interesting and critical ways, I think, because the first 3 books are kind of self-contained. You don't get as big a picture of the whole world. In this, you see more of kind of the wizards and how they organize themselves and how they deliberate amongst themselves, and just kind of the order that goes behind that, as well as you get to see a bit more of the Fae, the Summer Court and the Winter Court, and how all of that works. This is really great, though. I really did enjoy it. It's not my favorite, but it is definitely a good one. I enjoyed it. And the last book that I finished last week was John Green's nonfiction collection, The Anthropocene Reviewed. This is a series of essays that John Green writes about anything, really. He has like specific topics for each essay. Like, he writes about Diet Dr. Pepper, he writes about different songs and different ideas, he writes about the internet, about the QWERTY keyboard, about a lot of different stuff, but he takes a general idea and he expounds upon it, and he kind of digs deeper into the things that it makes him think of and the emotions he has tied to it. And it's very John Green. Like, this ultimately is just John Green. It is. You know, it's exactly what he does. If you like his fiction, I feel like you'll like this. And if you don't like his fiction, I think there's still a chance that you'll like this, because it's not YA, so it's definitely a little bit more focused. But I think by its very nature, this book is a bit indulgent, just because he takes these very ordinary, mundane things and he makes it deep, which is very John Green, and I enjoyed it. For me, I felt like it was a little bit on the longer side. By the end of it, I was kind of ready for it to end. And it's very centered around the pandemic, because he wrote this, I mean, over a number of years, but a lot of it is just kind of his headspace in 2020 and things like that. And I think if I'd read this a year ago, it would have been a little bit more impactful on me, and it still is very impactful on me, but it was just long. That's really my main complaint, is that a couple of these essays didn't necessarily have to be included. It's not even that long. I think it's like 280 pages or something like that. But if you just trim down a few of these, because I felt like he also kind of went over similar ground in some of them, it would have been a little bit cleaner, I guess. For me, it was a 4-star, though. I did have a good time with it overall. Okay, so those are all the books that I finished last week. As far as the stuff that I'm currently reading, I only am in the middle of 2 books right now. The first of those is Black Mouth by Ronald Malfi. I'm about 25% of the way through this one, so I read about 10% in the last week. I've just been reading a lot of other stuff, but I am still really enjoying this horror book. It's my first exposure to this author, and I'm really enjoying it. I love his writing so far, so I'm excited to get deeper into that this month. And the other book that I'm currently reading is one that I have been very much anticipating getting to this month, but I wanted to save it for the second half of the month, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait very long to get started on book 4. The book, of course, that I'm talking about is The Veiled Throne by Ken Liu. We have been buddy reading this on my channel over the past few months, and book 3 is upon us. Book 4 comes out, I think, next week, and so I'm hoping to just finish this up right near the end of the month, take my time with it over the next 2 weeks, and then jump right into book 4. I'm nervous. I'm only a few chapters into this, and it's definitely, I mean, it's classically you know, there's a new perspective going on, and there's a lot to focus on. I'm ready to get a little bit deeper into it, because I haven't quite gotten that hook yet in me, but I'm excited. It's gonna be amazing. I'm super hopeful. Yes. So those are the only 2 books that I'm currently reading. I am probably going to start another reread of something in the next couple of days, just because, like I said last time, I always like to have a reread audiobook going, just so I can not have to focus on it so intensely, especially with this being my only current audiobook. I'm going to need something to be a little bit of a breather from that. I'm thinking about maybe rereading Red Rising, because I haven't read book 4 and 5, and it's been like 2.5 years since I read the original trilogy, so I might go back and reread that. I don't know. We'll see what I end up deciding on. But that is all that I am currently reading. Now we're gonna go ahead and talk about what I've recently acquired, aka book mail time. Super excited about this. Thank God for book mail. It brightens your whole day, doesn't it? So this is from Macmillan. I have no idea what it could possibly be. Very excited to see what it is. What is this? Okay, so I have no idea what this book is. I've never heard of it, but that's kind of exciting. This book is called The Kingdoms of Savannah by George Dawes Green. The back of the book says, Savannah may appear to be some town out of a fable, with its vine flowers, turreted mansions, and ghost tours that romanticize the city's history. But look deeper and you'll uncover secrets, past and present, that tell a more sinister tale. It's the story at the heart of George Dawes Green's chilling new novel, The Kingdoms of Savannah. Okay. That sounds pretty awesome. So thank you so much to Celadon Books, actually, for sending me this copy. I'm super excited about it. It says that it comes out July 2022. I'm not sure the exact date. I'll go ahead and put it right here, but I'm super excited to have received this in the mail, and it's not too long, so maybe I'll have to pick this up immediately? Maybe. But that is all for this weekly update. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what books you have been enjoying over the last week and what you're hoping to get to this week. I really appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!